I'm going to fucking jail for a long time for attempted murder. Quote, cause I tried fucking killing somebody. Shit, I cut him in the throat. Quote, I'm going to jail. You do know that, right? It's attempted homicide. The last quote, I tried to stab him. I stabbed him in the fucking rib cage. I think maybe his arm. I stabbed him.
People against Preston Richard Schultz, 26G 705-740. Good morning. Your appearance, Detective?
Good morning, Detective Sergeant Gary Robinson, Gibraltar Police Department.
So sorry about this morning. Raise your right hand.
No
You
problem.
solemnly swear or affirm under penalties of perjury that the testimony you will give in these proceedings will be the whole truth so help you God.
I do, Your Honor.
Okay, go ahead.
All right, stop right there, because this case is already spiraling out of control. You've got a suspect allegedly confessing on the phone, multiple victims with serious injuries, and a crime scene that screams chaos. But here's the twist. This isn't just a bar fight gone wrong. Prosecutors are already moving toward attempted murder charges, which means intent is everything. The big question is, was this a reckless explosion of violence or a calculated act that crossed the line into something far more serious? Stick around, because the details only get darker from here.
On March 14, 2026, at approximately 01:54 hours, officers were dispatched to 28635 West Jefferson as River Billy's Bar in the city of Gibraltar for a stabbing. Officers discovered the suspect, Preston Schultz, had fled the scene prior to officers arriving. Officers would contact 3 victims of assault. Victim 1 was stabbed in the neck near his carotid artery and in the center of his chest. He was transported to the hospital. Victim 2 was stabbed in the right hand while attempting to break up the fight. He declined medical treatment on scene, but later drove himself to the hospital for medical treatment. Victim 3 was cut on the left forearm when attempting to break up the fight. He declined treatment also on scene. Several witnesses and the victims indicated Preston Schultz was a suspect in the case. The knife used in the assault was collected on scene. While officers were on scene, Preston Schultz contacted his ex-girlfriend, who was on scene, Ellie, via telephone. Ellie advised she is the ex-girlfriend of Preston. Officer O'Danny's body cam captured the phone call and some of the statements that were said by Preston to Ellie. These are quotes from Preston. Ellie, I'm going to fucking jail for a long time for attempted murder. Quote, cause I tried fucking killing somebody. Quote, listen, I'm going to prison. Quote, after that guy said that shit, I cut him in the throat. Quote, I'm going to jail. You do know that, right? It's attempted homicide. The last quote, I tried to stab him. I stabbed him in the fucking rib cage. I think maybe his arm.
This right here is devastating evidence. What you're hearing isn't speculation. It's the suspect's own words captured on body cam, essentially narrating the crime in real time. In legal terms, statements like these can be incredibly powerful because they show consciousness of guilt and potentially even intent. And intent is exactly what prosecutors need to elevate this from assault to attempted murder. But here's something to think about. Was he fully aware of what he was saying in that moment? Was alcohol involved? Could the defense argue impaired judgment? Or does this sound like someone who knew exactly what they had done? Let me know. Does this sound like a confession to you?
I stabbed him. Officers instructed Ellie to attempt to get Preston to return to the area. Preston drove back to meet with Ellie at 29355 West Jefferson. That's Dollar General in the city of Gibraltar at 043 hours. Once Preston arrived, he was placed under arrest and transported to the Gibraltar Police Department for booking. The case was uploaded to the Wayne County Prosecutor's Office via Carpel. We received a warrant for intent to murder, great bodily harm, and then 3 counts of felonious assault.
So tell me, Joshua Samuel Rose, what exactly, tell me again, I think, I could be wrong, but I think he was victim 1, right?
He's victim 1. He was stabbed in the neck.
Third on this victim or complainant on the information, or on the complaint rather. What exact injuries did he sustain again?
He was stabbed in the neck with a 2-inch gash, and then he was stabbed in the sternum.
Okay.
He was transported to the hospital.
Go ahead.
He was transported to the hospital. He was intubated for all of Saturday, and I believe he was released from the hospital on Sunday.
And how about the other two gentlemen, Mr. Barsotti and Mr. Belmore?
Barsotti, he declined treatment on scene. He
But then
showed
what?
up the next day. He was wrapped on scene. He showed up the next day at the hospital because he thinks there's nerve damage in his right thumb. The last victim has a small gash on his left forearm. He never received any sort of treatment.
That was Belmore.
That was Belmore.
Based on your sworn testimony, the court finds that the crimes as alleged were committed by a probable cause standard, and the court is going to go ahead and authorize the issuance of the complaint and the warrant for the arrest of the defendant on this 5-count felony complaint. A whim with regard to Joshua Samuel Rose, assault with intent to do great bodily harm, less than murder upon Joshua Samuel Rose, and then felonious assault upon Joshua Samuel Rose, Jeffrey Charles Belmore, and Austin Christopher Barsotti. So I'm going to authorize the issuance of the complaint and warrant. You can bring him forth for arraignment, and we will go from there.
Thank you, Your Honor. Box here.
Good morning, sir. Your name,
President Richard Schultz.
your appearance?
Good morning, Your Honor. Attorney Corey Westmoreland, bearing on behalf of Mr. Schultz.
There is a 5-count felony complaint for purposes of arraignment. How does he wish to proceed?
Yes, Your Honor, I did have an opportunity to speak with Mr. Schultz this morning regarding the charges, the maximum penalties, and all of his rights. He had no further questions for me, so at this time we are prepared to waive a formal reading of the complaint stands made.
Sir, I'm going to advise you of your rights. You do have the right to remain silent. You do not have to say anything. If you choose to say something in or out of court, whether orally or in writing, it can be used against you. Do you understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
You have the right to be represented by your lawyer, not only today, but at all subsequent court proceedings. Also, if you ever choose to submit to question with law enforcement officials, you do have the right to be represented by your lawyer at that questioning. Do you understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
You have the right to a probable cause conference within 14 days. At the probable cause conference, your lawyer will have the opportunity to discuss this case with the prosecutor. At the preliminary exam, the people have to show, if it goes that far, that each of these crimes were committed and that there's probable cause to believe that you committed those crimes. If they prove that as to all 5 counts, you'll be bound over for further proceedings on all 5 counts. If they fail to prove that as to any one of these counts, as to any one of the counts that they fail to prove those probable cause requirements as to, that charge would be dismissed. Do you understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
Probable cause conference will be March the 24th at 9:15. That's a week from tomorrow. Next Tuesday, 9:15, you'll be in front of Judge Hessen. She's assigned this case. And then March the 31 at 11, you'll be in front of Judge Hessen. So I'll listen to whatever anybody has to say regarding bond, and we will go from there. Counsel?
Yes, Your Honor. I'd like to note that Mr. Schultz currently is residing in Brooklyn. He has no prior assaultive criminal history. He's not currently on probation or parole, nor does pending matters. And after speaking with Mr. Schultz this morning, he did assure me he would be appearing all future court days and understands the importance of doing so. I would just ask that all that be taken into account in assessing.
Is this your address on US Highway 12?
Yes, sir. Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Detective, what do you have to say? Any alcohol or drugs involved in this, on either one of these, particularly as it relates to the defendant?
Your Honor, we don't have a PBT or blood, but I believe he was under the consumption of alcohol on the night.
Okay. All right. What else what are you asking for?
Your Honor, I'm asking for a high cash bond. I'm asking if he does get out, he is tethered. Also, no contact with victims. Specifically, no contact with witnesses Ellie Van Havel and Samantha Darnell. He did tell Ellie on the phone that he was going to kill Samantha Darnell, which is friends of Ellie Van Havel, which is his ex-girlfriend.
Anything else?
Not the subject.
I'm going to lay out the bond conditions. You cannot leave the state without the consent of the court. You cannot violate any law or ordinance. You must appear in court as directed, starting with March the 24th. You're not to have any contact with any prosecution witnesses except through your lawyer. You cannot write, phone, see, text, email, or communicate with them or have anybody else do any of those things for you on your behalf. You're not to have any contact with any of the victims, that being Joshua S. Rose, Jeffrey Belmore, or Austin Barsotti. You cannot write, phone, see, text, email, or communicate with them or have anybody else do any of those things for you on your behalf. You're not to purchase, possess, or consume alcohol, no marijuana, no illegal drugs. You're not to purchase, possess, or consume any one of those. You're not to possess any firearms. You're not to possess dangerous weapons. You do have to acquire a GPS tether. You're not to be within 2 miles of the victims, their residence, or their place of employment. You're not to be released until fitted with a GPS tether. 100,000 cash or surety will be the bond, March the 24th at 9:15. Any questions, sir?
No, Your Honor.
Anything else? Detective, anything else?
No, Your Honor.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And just like that, the court locks this case into motion. The judge finds probable cause, meaning there's enough evidence to move forward with serious felony charges, including attempted murder and multiple counts of assault. The bond conditions, extremely strict. $100,000 cash, GPS tether, no contact orders. This tells you the court sees this defendant as a potential risk to public safety. Now, stepping back, this case highlights something critical. When violence escalates this quickly, especially involving weapons, the legal consequences escalate just as fast. What may start as a confrontation can turn into life-altering charges in seconds. So now I want to hear from you. Do you think the evidence here is overwhelming, or is there room for reasonable doubt? If you found this case as shocking as we did, make sure to hit that like button. Share your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more jaw-dropping courtroom breakdowns.